You are watching WCSD from the Calloway County School District.
This week on LakerTV, we hear about the connection between cell phones and depression, a decent look into what's happening in Houston, and some rather interesting news that's happening in the real world. All that and more coming up on LakerTV. What's good, Lakers? I'm Jillian Hagthorne.
And I'm Caleb Spain with LakerTV.
So Caleb, how do you plan on spending your 3-day weekend?
Well, I guess that's part of the mystery.
Why are you like this? Why can't you just answer the question?
I'm sorry. Anywho, before we get into this week's news, we'd like to give a quick shout out to Dr. Jones for being named the 2016-2017 KMEA 1st District High School Music Teacher of the Year.
So congrats, Dr. Jones. We wish you a good school year. I'm sure you've seen the news about Hurricane Harvey and the downpour and devastation it's leaving on its parts of Texas. The question here is, what is Murray doing to help? We had Chesley Wilson cover the story.
What started as a tropical storm in the Atlantic Ocean has now been categorized as a Category 4 hurricane named Harvey. Late last Friday, it touched down in parts of southeastern Texas, leaving residents in up to 50 inches of rain and in need of help. So far, 11 trillion gallons of rain has fallen and collected, 316,000 power outages across the state, and 62 counties under Texas's disaster declaration. Mayor Sylvester Turner of Houston, Texas, has given out a list of supplies that many victims are in need of. That includes clothing, diapers, baby formula, medical supplies, and food. So that brings up the question, what is Murray doing to help? I talked to Stephen Hunter from Glendale Road Church of Christ to inform us.
Well, what we're doing preliminary is from now until this coming Sunday, we're taking special donations and we're going to just monetary donations, and we're going to send that down to the Churches of Christ Disaster Relief in Nashville, Tennessee. They have already mobilized trucks to head out towards Texas, and some are probably already there. But what they do is they have a center there in Nashville, a distribution center, and they take in pallets of goods, and they're able to get things in bulk at a very reduced rate. We'll give to them because we kind of, for the lack of a better term, we get more bang for our buck. And so they'll go out there and, they'll find a church, a local Church of Christ in the area, and they'll stage there, and they will distribute those goods at this point. And, they don't just give to members of the church, but they also give to just anyone in need. But they will use a local congregation for their staging point. So,
if you would like to help out and donate supplies or money, any of these organizations are taking them, along with some local groups and churches.
Bummed out because you don't have any spending money for the weekends? Perhaps a part-time job could help put some jingle in your pockets. Reporter Jamie Miller has some information that could help students find a job.
If you're searching for a part-time job, the staff at the Harbor has a whole list of job opportunities.
We do the work for you, so I've got job postings right here. I do them every 2 weeks in hopes that when students walk around in the morning, they will just grab one whenever they feel like they want to look and see what jobs are posted every week.
So how do you think other students could benefit from the part-time job listings?
Any student can benefit from having a job, a part-time or a full-time job. It helps students become financially responsible adults, and so it's a great opportunity to come by and just look every week, see what we have to offer.
Hey, let's turn to some sports news now on LakerTV. It was a sloppy night on the soccer field last night, but the Laker boys slid their way to a convincing win over the Murray Tigers. Way to go, guys. Also, it was a wet afternoon for Laker golf team, too, as they played a 3-way match with Marshall County and Massac County yesterday. They finished in a 2-way tie with the Marshalls and have only a week remaining before the regional tournament. Jesse Raines take a closer look at the Laker golf team.
This past Tuesday, a generally unknown team of ours took on and beat Murray High School. This overlooked but dominant team is our golf team. Head coach TJ Hargrove gave us a run-through of his team.
I got some very strong senior leadership on the team this year. We're led by Tanner Hicks, who was a state qualifier last year, who's played golf since middle school. My man Gary Capps also as well, who played really well yesterday. And got some other guys, Jonathan Kirkendall and Braden Hill also came back to the team this year. So got a lot of seniors who like to push the young guys and show them who's boss on the team. So I really do like our senior leadership and what they provide for our team.
Hopefully they can make a run for regional champions. For Laker TV, I'm Jesse Raines.
Our Laker football team will be playing Saturday this week instead of the usual Friday night lights. Callaway will travel some 3 hours to Metcalfe County for a 5 o'clock game tomorrow night in Edmonton, Kentucky. Good luck, Lakers.
Sports to media, Kaylee Colson brings you summer review of some greatest movies of the year on this brand new episode of Spotlight.
Surprise! Hi Lakers, it's me, Kaylee Colson. I know. Madison and I told you at the end of last year that the current was over, but now I'm reporting in Not So Live for Spotlight. This means you get to hear me rattle on about cool things again, all year. So if you keep up with media and entertainment, you know that August and September are pretty dry in terms of movies and games and books, but there were loads of neat things that came out this summer, mainly movies. Shall we do a recap? I guess this would be a good time to send out the spoiler alert, so spoiler alert for this summer's biggest moneymakers. First up was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, another hilarious and action-packed Marvel movie. I went in expecting great things, and I came out as Mary Poppins, y'all. In Guardians 2, we meet Ego, who, yes, has an ego as big as his planet, a godlike Celestial who quickly reveals that he's Peter Quill's father. Things quickly go awry when Ego's evil plan for universal dominance, using his son, is revealed. One awesome giant Pac-Man battle later, Planet Ego is destroyed and I'm crying a river of tears for reasons I'm not going to talk about. We see the Guardians' abandoned ship and the movie promptly ends in a kind of sad yet bombastic way. It's clear that Marvel took some risks with this one and it paid off. Speaking of abandoning ship, next up in the summer review just so happens to be Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Once again we see Captain Jack Sparrow engaging in crazy adventures. This time Jack is with a ragtag crew of people consisting of Henry Turner, the son of these two, and Barbossa's own daughter, Karina. Jack unknowingly releases an angry ghost crew when he trades his compass in for a drink. This sets in motion a mad hunt for Poseidon's trident, a trident that can apparently break all sea curses. There's honestly not much there to talk about. It's almost exactly what you'd expect from a Pirates movie. Many reviewers are saying that the plot lacked, though, and that the series needs to stop. Now that I mentioned series that might need to stop, has anyone ever seen the Transformers movies? Well, another one hit theaters this summer, and let me tell you, the explosions and graphics were amazing. But just like the newest Pirates movie, the latest addition to the Transformers saga was a little lacking. It had a complicated plot that I can't cover because of time limitations, but I will say one thing. If you enjoy seeing movies that have robots, like, punching each other in the face, this is the movie for you. It's got all the characters you know and love, except for, you know what, let's just move on. War for the Planet of the Apes is the third installment in a reboot series of the original 1968 movie. Usually people don't see the point in reboots, but the new Apes trilogy is really good. The effects are amazing, the plot and the characters are beyond interesting. The trilogy really explores humanity and morals regarding the two species. Wow, that was a lot of talking. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Spotlight. Don't forget to tune in for the next one. See you next time, Lakers!
Did you know that Kentucky has such a high rate of teen suicide that it is actually higher than the national average? More than 44% of teens suffer from depression, and a recent study says that cell phones could have a role in this number.
Could cell phones have a role in teen anxiety and other mental issues? According to recent studies, Kentucky currently has a higher rate of teen suicide than the national average rate. A recent article suggests that this higher suicide rate can be linked to increased anxiety in teens because of cell phone use. Studies say that with the growing amount of time teens are spending on their phones, they are growing away from real-world connections. Are today's teens more anxious than previous generations?
I have noticed many students in the last few years who seem to struggle with more anxiety issues than I've ever seen before.
I think teens have been perpetually moody, but yes, there is considerable growth.
Is there a link between increased cell phone use and higher rates of anxiety?
Yes. Just because social media anxiety, trying to live up to the expectation of being like this perfect person online.
It really takes away from the student's ability to learn how to communicate appropriately with other people.
It's hard to say because these days what people are going through now is way completely different than what people have been through in the past.
Because everybody is on social media and everyone has to have their phone in their hand and they don't actually want to talk in person.
There are mixed opinions on this topic. Some believe that cell phones are definitely the source of increased anxiety, while others believe cell phones are beneficial to those who need an anchor in situations.
For me, my phone is like my anchor for my depression and anxiety. Like, it helps it a lot.
I have mixed feelings on that. I think it's very helpful in today's time.
Could cell phones really be the main cause of stress?
School.
School.
I would say social life.
School life.
The most common cause of stress among those we asked was their education. Only a few said their social life was a big factor in their stress. After asking 100 students what the most stressful part of their life is, half of the students responded that their school life was more stressful than their social or family lives. Only 18 students responded that their social life was the most stressful part, which is surprising based on the amount of time these teens spend on their phones.
I'd probably say 5 or 6.
A lot.
Like 2 or 3 hours.
Too much. An hour and 30 minutes.
Too much. Way too much.
All day. At least 5 hours.
All day. Like all day.
At least 8 hours or more.
8 hours.
2 hours.
I'd say like 1 to 2 hours.
No matter your view on the issue, everyone can agree that all the time spent on your phone could have an impact on your mental state. I'm Emily McIntosh for LakerTV.
For more information, you can visit npr.org and look for the article, How Smartphones Are Making Kids Unhappy.
What we just talked about was a little heavy, so let's try and lighten the mood a bit with a new series where we tell you about the weird news that's happening in the world right now. Chesley Nance is here to give you some really weird news.
Have you ever seen something on the news that makes you just... If not, welcome to the Weird News of the Week. This is where I, your host, Chesley Nance, bring you ridiculous news that has happened in the past week or so. Okay, so most 16-year-olds strive to do good in school and impress their friends, but this 16-year-old is running for governor in the state of Kansas. How, you might ask? Well, there are no regulations in this state to become governor. None, zero, zilch, nada. So he is just wanting to give the people a new and fresh option if they wanted, since he can't vote himself. Speaking of new options and lifestyles, goat yoga is apparently a thing. And no, it's not where the goats do the yoga, it's where you, the human, are doing the yoga, and yes, the instructor, not a deranged person, lets a baby goat loose in the studio while you are trying to calm down and relax. These goats jump around, jump on you, try and eat your hair and your clothes, and will even use the bathroom on your mat. So if you want to go to one of these things, you can look for openings in Arizona, New Hampshire, Colorado, and Oregon, etc. But you might have to wait a little while. Some of these have a waiting list of 500 plus, so good luck trying to get in. Namaste, my dudes. Goat yoga. If you put those two words together, they make a word like goga or yo. Those are pretty funny words, but researchers in England have scientifically proven what the funniest word in the English language is. But before I get to the actual word, I'm wondering why scientists in England are devoting their time to this and not, let's say, why Apple removed its headphone jack. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, I'm getting off subject. Like, trying to discover something useful, because we don't exactly need to know the funniest word in the English language. Anyways, the funniest word in the English language is booty. I don't know why or how it is, but it is. Just accept it. For LakerTV, I'm Chesley Nance, and this is Weird News.
Well, that's all for us today, folks.
And remember to say congrats to Dr. Jones if you see him, and as always, keep crushing it, Calloway.